Going beyond engaging the naysayers, how do you engage people on change? How do you get people excited? You know, for some people, change is really scary. For other people, change is really exciting. So how do you best engage people on change? You start by understanding your people. You can have two different types of people, individualistic and group-oriented or collective individuals. Individualistic people, you know, they tend to see things as doers. They have a highly communicative style. They're direct, they're assertive, they're explicit. They might be skeptical. In a group-oriented, person, they're more of a collaborator. They're more indirect, passive. Maybe they are optimistic. Maybe they prefer silence and they don't offer verbal or physical cues. You got to understand the people that you're trying to communicate with when you're trying to explain your change management strategy. And you need to realize that different learning styles exist. And you need to understand the difference between introverts and extroverts. This is one of the key things with trying to implement change management is extroverts. They enjoy generating ideas. They think off the cuff. They're willing to talk out loud and say, well, I might not know anything, but I'm going to offer my opinion here. And they're just going to jump right in, whether they know the guidance. We have introverts who prefer to solve problems on their own. They like to reflect. They enjoy the quiet, solitary time. They want to listen. They want to reflect. It takes them a few seconds to come up and throw their ideas out there. And they tend to want to get stuff right before they put it out into the room. So understand when you're doing change management around sustainability, you're going to have two very different audiences. And you need to be able to apply and appeal to both sets of extroverts and introverts. And lastly, there's different leadership types. I think one of the most common mistakes that teachers make, that CEOs make, that executive directors make of nonprofits, I think everyone gets them how they talk. So an extroverted leader, they want to be out and talking to people, and they tend to think that if they can just get out and inspire people, that everyone will just follow along. And they realize, again, you're missing half the boat. Whereas you've got introverted leaders who, they might be, thinking about things a little differently. They're more likely to accept suggestions made by employees and modify them. And they're more likely to let employees try out new strategies rather than getting out and doing rah-rah in front of everybody. So different leadership styles are also more effective with different types of companies. Lastly, as you're trying to embed sustainability for the long term, you really want to make sustainability in your change management processes stick. You need to add it to your processes. You need to add it to your evaluation and compensation, to your job descriptions. You got to find a way to gamify it, make it fun. You might have to find a way to make it entrepreneurial. In conclusion, this module covered a lot of ground, from what are the foundations of doing change to what are the most effective change management methods around sustainability, obstacles that you should expect, the fundamentals that you need to put in place to lay the groundwork, how to use the Hagen-Wilhelm matrix to evaluate where you are and what steps you're going to need to go to that next level, how do you engage the naysayers, how do you put it in language people can understand, and how do you institutionalize and put the processes and procedures and frameworks in place to embed sustainability for the long term.